To help us dive into the Wisconsin preview, obviously back to noon and all of that good stuff. Wisconsin coming to town. We've got Rohan from Bucky's Fifth Quarter joining us. Rohan, thanks so much for joining Michigan Live on our mega show here.
Hey, thank you guys for having me. Definitely excited to be here and break this matchup down.
Absolutely, Rohan. Looking forward to it. Very excited to be coming out of the bye week and playing another Big Ten opponent. What is, from the Wisconsin perspective, what is your thoughts and feels going into this game this week in terms of, the fan base? What is the fan base's perspective here?
To be honest, it's a lot of unhappiness right now with the fan base. In fact, just 2 weeks ago, before Wisconsin's bye week, when they had their Big Ten opener at home against Maryland, there were chants to fire head coach Luke Fickell before even halftime hit when Wisconsin was losing to Maryland in a disappointing game. They ultimately got blown out there. They lose 27-10. Really a lack of identity, a lot of tough questions to Luke Fickell after that game. And now Wisconsin's going to have to regroup somehow and face a top 20 team in the country here on the road in the Big House for the first time in a couple of years, with some of the uncertainty still from that game still looming when it comes to injuries, when it comes to different questions offensively and defensively. There's a lot of questions right now regarding the Wisconsin fan base.
Yeah, and I will say the lines here provided by FanDuel. Of course, we have our link that everyone can check out. Put $5 in, get 300 bonus bets, bet responsibly. The FanDuel line does say Michigan favored by 16.5. And what's interesting is over under 42.5. So they're thinking that there's going to be some scoring going on. Where do you stand just as overall coming into Ann Arbor? I mean, do you see this as an opportunity to really shock the world and put up a good fight and potentially take home the dub?
I know Badgers, they're players. We spoke with them today. They definitely feel that way. But right now, it just feels like the entire country is against them. When you look at a line like this with the over-under of 42.5, seems like the line or the betting odds expect Michigan to score, but Wisconsin's over-under is probably around 13 to 14 points right there. And that kind of outlines the problem they currently have. It's unclear how Wisconsin's going to be able to score right now, and that's because the number one thing they want to do is run the football, and they just haven't been able to all season. They're experimenting along the offensive line. They've had some key injuries there. Their left tackle, Kevin Haywood, he went out during the spring. They haven't really found a great replacement yet, having to move right tackle Riley Mallman over to the left side. And then at center, arguably one of the most important positions on this offensive line, senior and really captain Jake Renfro has been in and out of the lineup with some ankle and some knee injuries. He's going to be banged up this week if he goes, and if he doesn't, Wisconsin's going to have to play 3 redshirt freshmen up front and along the offensive line against a really tough matchup. It's just a really hard place for the Badgers to come into an environment like this with the amount of youth that they're playing up front and the inexperience that they're playing up front. And that's not even mentioning quarterback Billy Edwards. He's uncertain as well this week. Excuse me.
Oh, now let me ask you a question, high level, about the Wisconsin offense. One thing that absolutely fascinated me was when Fickell came in and he said, "I'm going to hire Phil Longo and I'm going to go air raid." And I thought, the Big Ten can be a really tough place to implement an air raid. And I'm noticing now maybe a bit of a shift away from that. Do you see that as well? Do you see that their new OC has kind of maybe tried to reestablish a little bit of that physical Wisconsin identity with running the ball?
I think you hit it on the head there. Wisconsin tried the air raid, but you're right. In the Big Ten, it's really hard to implement, not only because of the weather, but also you face elite level defenses, and Wisconsin just naturally has not been able to recruit the quarterback or receiver talent to implement that system effectively. They're trying to go back to their roots now, trying to create that, ground and pound run heavy style. But as I mentioned a little earlier, it's tough for the Badgers right now because they just frankly don't have the push up front with the offensive line, starting 3 redshirt freshmen. They've got strong running back talent. They actually have a room consisting of 3 sophomore/redshirt freshmen and then a redshirt junior in Cade Yakimelli. Those young guys are really leading the pack, and those are guys Wisconsin is excited about for the future. But right now, rush lanes just aren't there for the Badgers, and that's creating a lot of really a lot of inconsistencies with the offense because the passing attack can't really complement very well right now.
Yeah. So you mentioned that, what was it? You said Billy Edwards is not going to be available, but Danny O'Neill's been the quarterback for the season, correct? Was there any type of potential quarterback controversy? Is that why you feel that his loss may have an impact?
No, there hasn't been a quarterback controversy yet, actually. This was one of the first years for Wisconsin that they haven't done that. Last offseason, when Wisconsin had 2 quarterbacks, Tyler Van Dyke, a transfer from Miami at the time, and then Braden Locke, a young guy in the room, they went through a quarterback battle before Van Dyke won the job, heading into week 1. This year, Luke Fickell elected to do something different, anointed Billy Edwards as a starter upon coming to Wisconsin. Danny O'Neill was informed that he would be the backup this year before transferring to the program. Unfortunately, Edwards goes down with a weird non-contact knee sprain in week 1. He ended up missing time. O'Neill has been the guy pretty much since then. Edwards tried to come back, but came back too early to try and face his alma mater, his former team in Maryland in week 4. He ends up getting hurt after 1 drive, doesn't look like himself, and O'Neill is in there. There hasn't been a quarterback controversy, and quite honestly, the play on the field has kind of dictated why O'Neill has looked a little outmatched when on the field so far this season.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, all right. So what is your thoughts here on Michigan's offense versus Wisconsin's defense? Wisconsin having at least a very good year statistically in the run game. It's done very well. I think it's holding opponents around 55 yards a game, something around there, right? What's your thoughts there, especially facing an offensive running game like Michigan's this coming week?
50 yards per game. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I honestly think this is going to be the most fun battle if you're trying to find a way of competitiveness in this one, because Wisconsin's defense has been elite at stopping the run, and that was something that the coaching staff said this is the number one thing we need to address last year. Wisconsin was uncharacteristically bad against the run last year, which hasn't been a program norm. They go out and they get quite a few 300-pound defensive linemen in the transfer portal, and now they've been able to plug up the holes. They've got edges in Mason Reiger, a transfer from Louisville, who's probably been Wisconsin's best player defensively so far, and as well as Sebastian Cheeks, a redshirt sophomore. Those 2 guys man the edges, have been able to set well. But then you've got those 300-pound linemen who are there in the middle, really there to stop the run. This is going to be a nice battle because Wisconsin, while they have been really good, have also not faced a rush offense close to the caliber of Michigan so far. I mean, I'm sure all of you guys know, I'm sure the fans know how good Justice Haynes has been. But it's not only him. Jordan Marshall has been really good, even stemming back from his season last year, especially in that bowl game. You know that there's a lot of different elements to this Michigan run game, and I think Wisconsin will look to be aggressive, but if Michigan can open up the pass game as well, I think that they're going to have good opportunities in the run to make things difficult for the Badgers there as well.
Okay. So let's get your prediction here. Who do you think wins the battle? Wisconsin's run defense or Michigan's run offense? Your honest perspective.
I honestly think this is a little tough for Wisconsin, especially given how this Michigan offense is constructed. I do expect Michigan to be able to run the ball at least at a 4.5 yards per clip caliber, if not better, given how they've played so far.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting to get that perspective. Okay, because it's the area, like looking at the numbers. it's the area that definitely sticks out as the potential, strong arm match between the 2 teams. So I'm interested to see how that one plays out. And it also, I don't know if you know this, Rohan, offensive line wise, we lack a bit of cohesion. We've also been dealing with injuries with Giovanni El-Hadi being out. So I'm real interested to see how that dynamic plays out.
Brady Norton's been out.
Yeah.
Although it seems like that might have been actually addition by subtraction in a way, because then Garnera comes in and crushes it. Yeah. I'd say the one thing that maybe is a little bit of hope for you guys. We really haven't seen the passing game really lighted up, aside from maybe against Central Michigan University. So, the run is something that Michigan's been leaning on. But I would love to just kind of understand, and I asked this of everybody. I asked this to New Mexico. I asked this to literally everybody, about the keys for a Wisconsin victory. Like, what needs to happen? What are a couple of things that you think need to happen for Wisconsin to pull off the upset here?
Yeah, I think the number one thing is honestly what we just talked about, which is being able to stop the run. I think it's going to be an emphasis as it's been all season because, like you mentioned, Bryce Underwood has been solid, but definitely the flash is there, but he's completed around 57% of his passes. I think that there is a path at least to keeping this game competitive if you force Michigan into 2nd and 7, 2nd and 8s, rather than 2nd and 5s and 2nd and 4s, where you have, or 2nd and 3rd and 4s, where you have, sustainable drives on shorter distances on 2nd and 3rd downs. I think in addition to that, Wisconsin is going to have to figure out something in the run game. Michigan's defensive line and edge group is one of the best, if not, a top 3 unit in the country, I would say. They've been really good so far, just as they've been in general. And I think that that's going to be something Wisconsin will have to figure out. If not even run efficiently, do not have the negative plays that they've had so far. They've had too many 2nd and 9s and 2nd and 11s and 12s from the run game that they have really hurt their offense, because it allows pass rushers to tee off on 2nd and 3rd downs against a pass offense that really hasn't shown enough yet. If it's Danny O'Neal starting, the way to get him going, get a couple of those quick throws, get the ball out of his hands quickly, and hope for the receivers who have a good amount of speed with them to be able to make plays. If it's Billy Edwards, Edwards knows how to, execute that offense in the short amount of time that we've seen him. We've seen a couple of drives where Wisconsin's been successful. Even in the Maryland game where he had a drive, his first drive, his lone drive got Wisconsin into the red zone or near there, where they had a field goal that was blocked. And so you have a lot of opportunities in the offense, depending on who the quarterback is, but you're going to need to be able to run the ball to even have that chance. Wisconsin's got to be somewhat efficient there. It all comes down to the trenches, as it really does in a lot of games. Michigan has the clear advantage on paper, but Wisconsin has to take into account some of those injuries potentially and maybe create a little bit of momentum on their side in order to keep this one close.
All right, TJ.
Well, did you give a score prediction?
Well, we'll do keys, and then we can do score.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so keys of the game. Well, so from Michigan, it's a turnover game. I mean, I think it's going to be a key. When you're playing a team like Wisconsin, who could potentially sneak up on you. As long as we manage the turnover game, we should have the advantage. That's clear. My second key to the game is, and this is more or less just something I'm trying to see improve with Michigan, is I want the back end of this defense. This is their opportunity to look like they've taken a step up. So I would like to completely shut down your offense in the passing game. I know it's not the most dynamic offense in the passing game, but at the same time, against every opponent this year, we have seen gaps in the back end of this defense. So a key to me is completely shutting down your offensive passing attack. And then the third key to the game for me is simply protecting Bryce. I think I'm going to say this every single game. If we protect Bryce, if we keep Bryce upright, we should have the opportunity to win every game. Now, this is a game we should win, in my opinion. But I think quite clearly, as long as Bryce is not put in a position like he was against Oklahoma, granted this is Wisconsin, then we should be in a position to win this game, John.
Absolutely. And so I try to give a key for both teams, and it's trench play. Who can win in the trenches? That's a big one. For Wisconsin to pull this off, I think they're going to have to stop Michigan's run as much as possible, and then kind of limit the pass, maybe even pick Bryce off a couple of times, a couple of interceptions in there. And then Michigan needs to step it up in the pass game, right? Because I don't know if we can just ride Justice Haynes the whole game here. Like, I think we're going to need to find an answer. I want to see Andrew Marsh on the field, or whoever it is that is having the best hands in practice, because that's been a big problem. Is who has the best hands, who can actually catch the ball, who can run the best routes, who can get the separation, other than McCauley. So I'd love to see Andrew Marsh, Kendrick Bell, or whoever they've identified as the people, and I think that could really help Michigan pull out the dub here. So so with that said, score prediction, Rohan, what do you think's happening in this one?
Unfortunately for my Badgers fans, I don't think things are looking too hot. I have Michigan to win 34-10. I do think that they're going to force turnovers. I don't think Wisconsin's going to have much offense in this one because they just haven't shown the ability to run the ball and go up against a really tough front here. And I think defensively, while they've been good at stopping the run, I think Michigan provides a problem. And I think that Michigan's going to be able to protect Bryce Underwood well enough. I think there will be some plays to where they're going to control the game from the jump. I don't know that Michigan gets to 40 just because of the pace of the game. I think both teams like to run the ball, and it's a Big Ten style game. But I think Michigan wins pretty comfortably 34-10.
Interesting. We're very close. I'm 34-13. So we're on the same wavelength there. That's interesting. You have 34. Yeah, I think Michigan does its job here. I think Michigan is able to, limit Wisconsin's ability to get down the field and score. I do think they'll get potentially 2 field goals. They may get a touchdown at some point in this game. That's kind of where I'm at. I think, and also I'll be honest, I think Michigan's going to come out hungry and aggressive because it's their first game. We didn't even talk about this with Sharon back. And
yes,
not only that, we know that they were working very hard on the issues with this team. I do feel, and I'm going to tell you right now, I have a feeling we will see Andrew Marsh in this game. I don't think it's a coincidence he mentioned him and how well he performed in practice. I think we will. And I just think the boys are going to come ready to play. And they know, I don't think they're looking ahead to what USC. I really don't. I think they are focused on this one. And I think it being home as well, I just think Michigan's going to come to play.
Yeah. I think we're all kind of hovering around the same scores. I have what Ryan has, 40-10. I think they're going to find, with Andrew Marsh hopefully being on the field some more, maybe even Browder makes some appearances, Simpson in the receiver game. Marlon Klein obviously is getting healthier and healthier as a great passing tight end for Michigan. And that defense, I think they're going to, with Rod Moore kind of slowly being eased back in. Rod Moore, I think we haven't even said his name enough. I think we need to be saying his name more. Like he was known in 2023 as the quarterback of the defense. He makes sure everyone's in the right alignment, makes sure everybody's good. He's got a ton of experience. Rod Moore having more play can only be good for Michigan's defense. Zeke Berry eventually coming back. But at the end of the day, the lines are coming together. It's really, how can we get the secondary up a notch? But I think in this one, 40-10, and Michigan takes the dub. But one thing I respect about, I think, every single guest, including yourself, Rohan, is you've been very reasonable with your predictions, and we appreciate the reasonable take and giving us the shot there.
Yeah.
No, I thank both of y'all for sure. Just thank you both for having me on, and definitely a fun talk to talk about Michigan. Wisconsin, see the both sides at this moment, and excited for this game on Saturday.
Yeah, Ron. Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. We appreciate it, and hopefully, are you going to be visiting Michigan for the game at all, or are you going to be watching?
I will be at the game. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Well, enjoy Ann Arbor. Hey, make sure you check out the Little Brown Jug, man. Have you ever been there?
No, first time in Ann Arbor, actually.
Go. Yeah. All right, Little Brown Jug. Go. Enjoy.
That's it. Yeah.
But, yeah,
Brown
man,
Jug.
have a good time.
Yeah, enjoy it. Let us know if you want some other recommendations. So let the community know if they want to find more of your work and follow you on the internet, where can they go?
Yeah, definitely. As you can see on the screen, if you want my Twitter, it's at Rohan Chakrov. We have a lot of work over at Bucky's Fifth Quarter, buckysfifthquarter.com, or B5Q on the X as well, where we're posting pretty much everything about this game from the Wisconsin aspect. So if you guys want more content on Wisconsin, trying to figure things out there, just see how the Badgers are, quarterback updates, injury updates, all of that, be sure to check out the site. But should be a fun game. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, feels like we're pretty aligned right now on our predictions.
All right, Rohan. We'll have safe travels, my friend.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Thanks, Rohan.
All right, John.
Wow.
Hey,
So yeah,
back-to-back guests, man.
yeah. It's one of those double headers with two excellent guests in a row giving their takes from different way different perspectives, right? So that's what we like to see. But obviously, it's very exciting to kind of see Michigan with Sharon Moore back and all of that stuff. I love that we touched on Sharon Moore coming back and that impact that it's going to have for his first game back in the Big House after the 2-game suspension.
I think it will. I really do. I think the boys are going to come to play, man.